So we are live, y'all. I'm gonna see if I can find my charger. I don't know where the fuck it is. I have no idea. I'm so pissed. But obviously, I'm a Kentucky fan. Kentucky's playing Georgia currently in football, but I figured I'd go live to get my mind off that shit. But I know it goes. I got it. Get my phone charger out real quick, so I can charge my phone since my phone percentage is on 36%. So let me get that real quick. Got it. Listen on that. Oh, this can be all fuck. I wish I had Zoom. So let's start with the cover. I'll give y'all. Let's see, settings, camera, facing back. All right, there we go. It's bent. So if I can get it straightened out. Yeah, straighten out. So obviously here's the cover. It won't straighten out worth shit. It's bent. So this picture was taken. Oh Lord. When we went to South Carolina one year, which is when I went first ever went. No, that was Tennessee. When I first ever went fly fishing. This was the second time around. Actually, that's actually the first time I ever actually went fly fishing on my own. After having a tour guide, in fly fishing in Tennessee. So this was probably 2 years ago, give or take. And obviously that's my parents' dog. We named him Finn. They named him Finn in honor of Huckleberry Finn. But obviously I call him Forrest in honor of Forrest Finn. So this was in the mountain home we stayed in South Carolina. So there's the title page, the cover page as they would call it. And then this is one of my favorite pictures, actually, to be honest with you. So this was in 2021. So I got my grandfather a gift because my grandfather wanted a bar at the lake house on one of the docks. And I was venturing into like some antique shop or some type of shop with, that's what it was. It was like a Western, like, antique little shop. And I ventured over into a little section where they had, the little, what do you call it? The little beer bottle openers, they can put on like a bar or something like that to get your bottles open. So I bought it for him because, he always talks about 50 and out with his wife. But, he always jokes about it. So I get him had to get it for him. It says, if I can read it, it says, beer making you see double and feel single again. That was his birthday gift to me. Or that was his birthday gift, me to him that year. So there's that one. And then this was actually the first ever lake house my parents had. This was me and my brother Jack, and my brother Jack actually currently is in the military. I don't know if he's coming back or not. That's another story for another day. But this was me and him because I got him a Celtics jersey for Christmas one year. And, obviously we had to match that year. And I miss my brother every year. I miss my brother currently, but I'm sure I'll see him again before I leave. More than likely. We'll see. And then this is one of the best ones ever. This is when I had that red fedora hat. Probably, maybe 2020. Yeah, actually, that might have actually been prior to COVID. They're prior to the COVID outbreak. I just went as Luke just for tonight, the second for tonight, But yeah, this was when I first got Chasing the Thrill, and I had him when I was first starting to read it heavily. So that was that year in 2020. And I had to show it off because, the chase is where it all began. And this picture has been in my photo inventory since, God, I mean, probably, I mean, for a long time. This was taken in Miami, Florida. Probably back when I was a Louisville fan, maybe, give or take. This might have been, actually, you know what? This was taken in 2016, 2017, I want to say. At 305 Brews, which is now closed down. You can't even find that bar anymore. But they had pretty cool beer. They had like miniature samples or something like that, but it was really interesting. They had some good beer there too. That was back when I was drinking. And then this, some of y'all might remember, was the 2022 concert from Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Poison. That was in Charlotte, I believe. Think you probably don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But I took this picture at the concert. Obviously, I had to get my Motley Crue, bandana outfit attire that concert. So it was pretty cool concert. I mean, Poison was the second band to play. Oh, that's right. It was Poison, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and Joe and Jet. Joe and Jet went on first. I think that might have been during Joe. That picture probably was taken maybe during Joe and Jet playing on stage. Maybe I'm not too sure. I can't remember fully to the T. That was taken at the Motley Crue concert. That shirt actually came. That was actually bought. That was my dad bought that shirt for me. Actually, that concert, I think it was, maybe. Don't quote me on it. And then obviously, I got my shades out. Took my shades out that concert too, so I had to have that picture, just for the old sake memories. And then one of the fondest memories that I'll ever keep in my back pocket. So we went to. So those who don't know this story, so 2021, I think it was. I went to Cody, and I ended up catching COVID. Is it, Larry? Well, it'll be all right, Kiwi. I just had to crease it for the sake of because I wanted to hide a picture. I'll flip it over. So I went to COVID 20. Or I went to Cody. Shit, that's my dad's. I'm gonna blame my dad for that one. So my dad calls Cody COVID Cody because I caught COVID in Cody, Wyoming, and I didn't test positive until like the last day we were there in Cody. That's when we had to travel 24 hours, 24 plus hours. My bad, from Cody, Wyoming, all the way back to Wilmington, North Carolina. That was, oh god, that was the worst drive ever. But I definitely want to go back. But this was the first night we were there in Cody, and we were actually at Wyoming Roadhouse is where this was taken at. They had a bunch of taxidermed like animals like propped up on like mountainsides and fake mountainsides, but it was really cool. It was really cool. Jack was just like, what the hell, whatever, cool. But yeah, I mean that was a great picture. That's Jack on the left. That's me on the right with the fedora. Just so you see, Wyoming Steakhouse. Let's see, camera's still a little bit blurry. I hate that it does it. And then I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's probably it's a good and this next one's a good and bad picture. So CJ, my younger brother, who's adopted from Wuhan, China, he went with us to Cody, Wyoming, and he always seemed in Cody with COVID. But yeah, no, it was definitely for sure, Kiwi. It was a trip. It was one hell of a trip. So CJ, he's scared of lots of stuff, but he's come a long way though. So he looks scared in this picture. You could tell on his face. He was scared of the what was that? Elk? Is that what it was? I think it was. Don't quote me on it. Yeah, it was an elk in Wyoming Steakhouse. And then this next picture was taken, I want to say 2022. I think it was when I was dating Elizabeth again. No, yeah, that's right. Maybe. No, 2023. This was 2023, I think. Maybe. What do I know? It might be 22. I should have go back and gotten all the years right. But yeah, this was definitely no. Wait. Maybe. Maybe not. No, this was taken by myself. This was probably 22. That's probably when that was. And this was probably in 2023. Maybe. You know what? It might be 22. I think it's 2022. I think that's when it was. Because I had just left Adeline, my crazy ass psycho ex. And then I ended up venturing out to my place with Elizabeth after, a year after me and her split. And me and her ventured out to my fishing hole together. And she ended up taking the picture for me. So, showing off. That's why you saw it. Yeah. I was gonna wait for that when it was a grand reveal. But yeah, that was 2022 when I took this picture at my tree at Snake Hole, which most of y'all remember from Discord. And then this next picture, as Larry already saw it, didn't mean to accidentally show it. So it was in my storage. I think it was. I don't know how it got into my storage. You know what? I do know how. It was sent to me from the good old legendary Cynthia Meacham. Is how I obviously obtained the picture, to say the very least, and I've kept it ever since then. And I think that was 22 when I was actually, getting info from Cynthia Meacham via email exchanges with her. And so this happened to be one of the pictures she sent me of her and Forrest together. So it's definitely good. I think that was the Jamie Jordan picture. I think if I'm correct. And then this next one, obviously, this whole photo album has to be a Forrest Fenn related photo album. So nonetheless, you already know what's coming up. Forrest Fenn, I had to come to my into my album of books, and then I obviously had to try to imitate George Dobbich with a mixture of Mr. T, as my grandfather always called me, Mr. T. He's like, "You gotta look like Mr. T." I said, "All right, pops. All right, Papa G." And so then this next picture was kind of more so of a trying to recreate my own style of, the Mountain Man Rendezvous, type of costume thing that Forrest Fenn always do with his buddies that were part of the Mountain Man Rendezvous. That was that one. And then obviously, I was venturing out to go and find me a raccoon hat. And so I had one for the longest. And then one of the dogs got a hold of it and I never got it back because the dogs ripped it up and tore it up to pieces. And when I found out, I was not a happy camper, to say the very least. But I'll definitely have to go back and get me another raccoon hat before I leave to Montana. Trying to think of what's next. Oh yeah. You already know. You already know what's next. Unplug my phone. So where you definitely include a picture of where everything began. The Century of a Legend, the Thrill of the Chase. None other than the Thrill of the Chase. That had to be included. You know what I mean? So it was just definitely had to be. It was definitely a picture that definitely had to be in my photo album, if not. And so this next picture, I don't think any of y'all have ever seen this next picture. I mean, y'all are very clueless on what the mud hole looks like. So as Vertigo knows, and I'm sure Vertigo will probably see this video, maybe not. But if Caper was in here, she could definitely share the video in her Discord, her Mike Siffer's Discord server after this is over. I'm sure Vertigo will give you a much better view of what the mud hole looks like. So me and my brother Jack Graybar is in the military currently. He's gonna have to redo a section that he failed. He needs to redo it all over again. So me and him, before he left, we went to the mud hole, and this was when it was shallow. This was when it was really shallow. It's a really cool spot. I don't even know. Actually, I do know how I found it. So I was dating Adeline back in the time when I first found it, and I was looking for a fishing hole. I was like, where can I go fly fishing at other than the other old fly fishing hole that I had? And so I found the snake hole and the mud hole. So obviously I don't even know what they call the general location yet. I mean, if y'all have any names, definitely throw it down in the comments or in this, the chat section. It would be great. But this was him waiting in the river, which is along it's actually the northeast Cape Fear River. And then obviously me and my tree at Snake Hole again, with me and so there's something really cool. So there's what the hell is it called? Mom and Pop's Country Store. It's like a very old and worn down like old gas station type of deal, and they got like old Coke bottles that you can like with the old screw tops. And I found it, and I was like, oh, I gotta have one to take to my tree. So obviously I took it to my tree that day, and then I obviously drank it at my tree. Which I wish I had an actual picture in the book where you could actually see the river with me next to my tree. Which this the river. It's just like the tree itself at Snake Hole is just very close to the river. It's like really cool. Like I'll have to do a live stream one time just from sitting at it and showing y'all what it looks like one day. Probably here sometime soon, as soon as I get a particular something. And so here's as you know, as a little kid, I've always loved nature, and I've always just been, just always in nature somehow, somewhere, you name it, sitting somewhere. So I don't know what it was, but I've always been in trees, I've just been around trees 24/7, as a little kid. That's me as a little kid, in a tree. I don't even know where it was taken, to be honest with you. I have no idea. That's a great question. Damn. I'm going to ask my mom about that one. And this is a great picture, actually. Not this one, but the one on the left to this one, of the left of this one. So, what year was that? It was. Should have gone back and got the details for this one. So, William Peace was doing a archaeological dig at Fort Anderson, known as Brunswick Town. And, I was a little kid, to say the least, back then when William Peace was doing the archaeological dig on site, and so I ended up being a volunteer for the dig, and this was me, all sweated up, in my camouflaged hat and whatnot. And actually, I got this from Camp Rockmont, which was like a Christian-based, like private all-male Christian camp, which was pretty cool. But yeah, we were deep in the neck of the woods for archaeological digs at that place. And just so y'all see, this was me as a young kid just fishing. I mean, I learned the clinch knot. I mean, obviously from one of our exchange students named Fabio, that's Fabio right there. I mean, Fabio fished in the in the rivers in Brazil, or in their jungle, actually. I think it was whatever rainforest in Brazil, in São Paulo, Brazil. I think it was where it was. And he taught us the clinch knot, and also learned the clinch knot from Channel Inventors, one of my old buddies from River Landing. So that was actually a pond that was close to our house where we lived in River Landing. It was really close. It was a nice, quick walk from the River Landing house that we lived in to this pond. I always enjoyed our walks. And another picture just to show that I actually did fish as a little kid. I really did. I mean, I was fishing 24/7 like as a little kid. I mean, everywhere I went, I was fishing or walking or doing something. I mean, I was always in shape, just fit shape, and I miss it. I really do miss it. But that was a flounder. I loved flounder growing up. Oh my God. Flounder was my favorite. I mean, anywhere I went to a seafood restaurant, I was like, I'm getting flounder. I don't care. I don't care. I'm getting flounder. It was cool. It was a quick order, and I mean, I just loved it. I mean, that was actually in Bradley Creek Marina, it's ironic because my house is very close by to the marina that I caught this fish at. And geocaching is where obviously my dear beloved obsession for treasure hunting grew from. So I got into geocaching actually because It was for a online science class, and they just I think it was like a bonus credit or something like that. I forget what it was called, but they had to do it for a bonus credit or extra credit. There you go, for extra credit, just to go geocaching is for extra credit. And so, for just from day one of doing the extra credit for geocaching, I mean, I grew up an obsession, like the most obsession I've ever had for anything. I mean, I was doing it hardcore. And then I ended up meeting one of my buddies, Rusty Kavanaugh, and who's in this picture on the left. And I mean, I have geocached so many times with Resi. I mean, I have found so many geocaches with him. It's insane. I mean, there have been some geocaches where he'd come up to me, he'd be chatting with me, be like, there's this geocache I can't find. Let's go find it. I said, bet, and that's exactly what I'd be like, bet. I said, I'll put money on it, and I ended up finding it. And guess who found it? None other than Tyler Peter Graybar. So I mean, Holy Wastewater. I mean, that was an interesting geocache. I mean, nowadays geocaching you won't find like difficult geocaches like this one. This one I had to go back to a second time because the first time when I went to make this trip with Rusty, I mean we searched up and down for it. We were searching it like in the nooks of trees. I mean we were searching like on the ground. I mean we were searching and up and down. You name it. We searched all over the place. I mean we could not find the damn thing. I mean I don't. I just remember just it being on a like tied to a vine, and I'm like, how how am I ever gonna find this shit? like, like if I went back, I'm sure I might be able to trace my steps, but I don't even remember to the straight T where exactly it was. But that was difficult geocache. That was definitely one of the books that, looking back, I might have to even go back to that place to see if I can find the exact place. Because I mean, obviously it's been archived, so I mean you can't even find it nowadays because it's just been archived, which means you can't even use coordinates to go and find it. And growing up, I mean, I was always around soccer because my dad obviously raised me up as just to play soccer. And it all started out with the YMCA. He'd make us run around, the whole field, with the old stereo radio blaring "Eye of the Tiger" while we're all chasing him. And so from there, my obsession for the Wilmington Hammerheads, it was a USL professional soccer team, and Chris Bagley, who's actually from Boston. I haven't seen him in a long time. I think the last time I saw him was probably 2022, before Jack left for the military, is when I last saw him. It's been a long time though, and he's doing pretty good. But he was actually a legend for the Wilmington Hammerheads. He has an interesting history when it comes to soccer. So he originally started out playing for the Charleston Battery, and then he ended up playing for the Wilmington Hammerheads after he left the Charleston Battery. And he took the Wilmington Hammerheads for a deep playoff run, which was pretty cool. And so it was me, my sister. So all three of us are biological. That's me as a little young lad. That's my brother Ryan. He's a little asshole. And then there's Sarah. I've rarely ever talked about on any of my live streams. Me and her do not get along. We're not like peas and carrots at all. But as you'll see throughout the book, me and Ryan got along pretty well. But we also had our clashes. And I grew up on playing Guitar Hero. I mean, I was a guitarist and I played Guitar Hero 24/7. I mean, if I wasn't walking around or on a hike somewhere or wasn't fishing, I was playing. I was cooped up in my room, either playing Guitar Hero, or as you can see, we had a pool table in the back. I mean, obviously you can see my brother Ryan Graybar, or we call him Gravy Train, was a diehard Duke fan, and I think I might have been a Duke fan back in that time, at that point in time. Maybe not. I don't know, because I was all over the place with college teams. But yeah, I mean, there's a drum set in the back too. I don't know if you can see it. There's the cymbals in the back right there. Maybe a crash or yeah, you can see him a little bit. I know my own drum set too. And then I was always digging holes. That's why I loved archaeology. 'Cause that's what my parents would always say. We can see you as an archaeologist because I was always, even if I go to even when I was at the beach, I was digging holes. I mean, I was digging deep, deep holes, like holes that someone would fall in accidentally, not even meaning to, just from walking on the beach. They would probably end up falling into it. Most of the time, I would backfill it. I hated backfilling holes. I mean, that was the main reason why I stopped doing archaeology as a career because it was just bad on my back, and I already had scoliosis, and I still have scoliosis. I gotta fix it. But yeah, I mean, I loved archaeology. Archaeology besides backfilling holes. I mean, I was just a young lad. I mean, I just always found myself digging holes, and no matter where I was, I mean, I'd be digging a hole. I really would. And then, I mean, this is when I was first started up playing guitar. I mean, I was young. I think on this picture, I was probably just, we were celebrating my sister's birthday or my dad's birthday. I forget which one it was. And then this was me and my sister Maddie. Me and my sister Maddie were like peas and carrots. We still are. I talked to her like a night or two ago. Like I talked to her on a daily basis, or at least I try to. But I mean, we grew up together, and we were always taking walks with the dogs. I mean, we even we drank together, like hardcore back when I was drinking in college. I mean, me and Maddie always had a great time. I mean, it was a blast. I mean, anywhere with me and Maddie went, we were. I'd be damned if we weren't having a hell of a time together. We always did. We always will. But she's actually leaving to New York. Probably in November, I guess. I think she's leaving New York in November, I think. And then this was actually in our backyard in River Landing. I still miss that willow tree. That willow tree is now gone. And River Landing was a private gated community golf course complex, which was really cool. Because, my dad moved. So we grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. And my dad was like, I would love to have a golf course in our backyard. So my mom's like, okay, we'll move there. We'll move to River Landing. So we ended up having a weeping willow in our backyard. And as you see, as the label says, or the text says, the weeping willow always weeps. So I wrote that because we had I claim it as my dog. My family says it was my brother's birthday gift, or Ryan's birthday gift, but I beg to differ. It was always my dog. I don't give a shit what people say. But Chucky, we lost him because he died from a 6-foot timber rattlesnake bite. And Chucky died on us, and we buried him underneath his favorite tree, which is the weeping willow, which is why I said the weeping willow always weeps. So that's that picture. And let's be honest, who's the real cowboy? So I was friends with Chase for a long time, but I won't get into any family history with his family and my family, but I won't get into none of that stuff. But me and Chase have always been friends. I have him as a friend on Facebook. I mean, I was just a good old city slicker boy back in the days, and he was a good old cowboy. I mean, it's funny because probably the roles are probably like really hella reversed. I mean, I think he's playing tennis now. He's a good tennis player, and I'm wearing cowboy stuff while he's a little good old city slicker. It's funny how things work out nowadays. And this is a Gravy Train, my brother Ryan Graybar. And this is me. I'm a little monkey. And he's still a little shit for that. So this is actually a famous picture, believe it or not, within the Graybar family. And one day I definitely want to recreate it, where I'm actually end up pulling his ear, because that's just a pain in the ass he's been to me, and him dealing with ear pain because of me pulling his ear. I don't know where this photo was taken, but actually I think I do know. It was taken at damn it. That's right. Airlie Gardens, I think it was. I think it's Airlie Gardens. I think it's where it was taken. I believe so. Maybe. And there is my grandfather, as I call him, Papa G, who was in the first photo. He is probably where I more than likely get my humor from. I mean, me and him share a lot of similar qualities that people don't realize I get from him. I mean, Dear God, bless his soul. I'm definitely gonna miss him when he leaves Earth, but I'm definitely trying to spend as much time as I can with him before he leaves Earth. But the one thing he definitely wanted and he definitely accomplished was to get my mortgage fully paid off before he left. So he's definitely accomplished that, and he did not want to see the house sold. So we're gonna have the house rented out, and that's why I'm currently here at my parents' house. As you can see, this is not my house. This is a nice house. It's an old styled house, but I'm staying in my parents' house because they're at the lake house right now. Um, so my house, they are tearing up all the floors within my house, and so there's no AC because they took the AC completely took the AC unit off the floor or out of the floor and where it was and put it into one of the guest bedrooms. And so there's no AC, and it's hotter than Hades in my room or in my house. So I'm staying at my parents' house until they fix that AC unit. And so, yeah, I mean, and so obviously, speaking of the lake house, perfect. That was actually a perfect transition. So this was actually at my parents' lake house. This was back around the time frame actually when I was talking to Vertigo and trying to make a little surprise event, a little surprise thing happen with a particular person who was close to my heart. And I was sitting there taking, on a cruise on my parents' pontoon boat on the big lake, and so that's where that picture was taken. And so I'm gonna give you some backstory in this photo. So I'm actually glad two people are actually watching this because two people will actually get inside info that I've never told anybody, and I totally forgot about it until last night when I was actually, or was it last night when I was wrote it? I think it was maybe last night or a few nights ago when I wrote it, and it dawned on me. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "How did I not remember this when the picture was brought up years ago on my end?" And the comment from somebody that I was in cahoots with during the chase, you know, with when I was, when K-Pro and all them didn't really know me back then. Well, K-Pro knew of me because I had banter with Candy, but I mean, I was in cahoots with a lot of people. I mean, one of them I was in cahoots with actually. Me and him had a standoff, and we kind of split ties. And just recently, he actually wished me happy birthday, which I almost cried when he did. I mean, he's known as the guy from Wisconsin within the Chase community, but I'll leave it at that. And one of these people that I haven't mentioned, and hasn't been in the Chase for years now, because me and him were in cahoots, and he texted Forrest this exact photo that I'm about to show you after I reveal it, but wanted to give you the comment before I even said it. So Forrest Fenn told him this exact quote. He said that an evil searcher posted it. And when I heard that, I was like, the fuck? I was like, what does this supposed to mean, right? So I dwelled on it for a little bit last night when I saw it. And I mean, part of the photo was the part of the photo that Forrest Fan is referring to as an evil searcher, comment was referenced because of Forrest Fan being at his location that he calls Lost Lake. So I'm gonna reveal that photo to you now that you have that context. And everybody remembers it because I threw it around the Chase community like a prostitute would throw herself around. And as you can see, from an evil searcher, which was also from Forrest Fenn and somebody else. Lost Lake within the water hole. And then this picture actually was taken in Honduras. It was actually I think it was after. Oh, that is right. I forgot about that event. So we went ziplining in Honduras, which was really, really cool. But I had to go first. So it was like literally the first course, like the first line or whatever for zip lining. We got to, and they said, well, we have to go Superman style because blah blah blah. And so nobody would flip and go. I'm like, fuck it, I'll go. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. I'll go. I don't give a damn. And so I went first Superman style, which is like, hands first. Your hands are wide out. Your head is facing towards towards the ground when you're like before they send you off, and you're looking towards the ground. And I'm going, oh shit. But I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll go. And I'm sitting there dangling. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be great. So they send me off zipping, boom, and I'm flying probably 20, 30 miles per hour on the zip line. And I enjoyed it. But this exact picture, this exact time, I remember something that happened. So, as you can see, I love monkeys. I love monkeys. Even when I went to Costa Rica, I was looking for monkeys 24/7, which you'll see later on. And so they had monkeys caged up to the left of this area. They had a whole bunch of monkeys, like even like birds and whatnot, in cages. So they brought one of the monkeys out, and I remember it very clearly now thinking about it. So after I took the picture with the monkey got off my shoulder, and the monkey, like, I don't know how the hell he did it. The monkey completely ripped apart this bag of chips completely. The bag of chips, the chips just went flying all over the place. The monkey was enjoying his time when he just eating the chips, chip by chip by chip. I remember it. I'll never forget it. And this picture was taken when I was a resident advisor at University of North Carolina at Pembroke, which is literally in the middle of freaking nowhere. And then this photo was at my tree at the snake hole, which you get a better view of what the side looks like. And I mean, it's pretty much, it's a pretty cool tree. It's like a cypress oak, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Or bald head cypress or something like that. And then I wrote a poem. I said, as I sat there beneath the ever-loving oak, I see true pondered thoughts on happiness. But I sit there beneath the oak with a coke, reminding me of a song that's harmonious. I guess that's the right way to say it. And then, so, okay, this picture needs some backstory. Definitely. So, going back to the Wimbledon Hammerheads. So, I was at the Wimbledon Hammerheads' first ever game in 1996 as a little newborn kid. And I had been within the Port City firm for a long time, since 96. And in 2016, 2017, that's when they officially left the USL. That was the last time I ever been in the USL Soccer League. And so I was at their last ever soccer game in the USL. This was where that was at their last ever home game in 2016-17 that year. As you can see, I always had my drumsticks in my back pocket with my Louisville hat. Back when I was a Louisville fan. And so I just put this next picture in there because one of my buddies who was, so obviously Sam, I was getting out with, going to Hooters, playing poker with, which is when I was playing poker hardcore. He ended up giving me this hat that's in the picture. And, because I was helping Sam out, I'd give him rides to his job locations and stuff like that. And so, just for helping him out, even like I'd get up early, like at 3 or 4 in the morning to take my medication, and I'd take him to go to his job location. And so, yeah, that was that, as well as the All In for Shiloh t-shirt, for those who didn't recognize that. And so this next picture becomes bittersweet. I mean, for those who don't know, I'm a diehard Kentucky fan, which is why I'm glad I got into this live stream, or else I probably would have been hussing, fussing, and cussing right now, probably, because I don't know how bad Kentucky's losing to Georgia right now in football. But last year, I ended up going to watch. No, this past year. Was it? Maybe. No, last year. It was last year. I ended up going to watch Kentucky men's basketball team play Providence and for the first round of the March Madness tournament. And This picture was the first ever picture I have ever had in my life with the Kentucky Wildcat mascot in the stadium where Kentucky played Providence, which I got really nice seats. I mean, I was literally courtside, like probably like 3 or 4 sections, maybe behind the actual rim itself. I mean, we were pretty damn near close. Damn near close. I mean, I'd be damned if we weren't close. And I took this picture. Oh yeah. I remember. So this picture actually was taken. I think it was raining that day. It was raining that day. And this was before we had this long, massive line. And we got in line, and people were coming out, blah blah blah. And it was a long line. I think some team or two teams had just been done playing, and all the fans were coming out of the stadium because they had like 4 or 5 games at that stadium in Greensboro Coliseum, I think it was. And we were waiting in line, and there happened to be Kentucky fans near me and whatnot, and so I'm rowdy. When I get rowdy, there's no stopping me, unless you really threaten me with throwing me over the rail, like my dad did, which is what he did. And I forget what I was yelling. I was probably like, "Let's go Kentucky, go Cats!" or something like that. Like when I get loud, I can get very, very loud. And especially when I'm in your ear, you're like probably going to tell me to shut the hell up, which is what my dad did. But I didn't stop. It didn't stop me. So, you know what I'm saying? You do it again in my ear, I'm going to throw you over the rail. And that got me to stop quicker than I ever have to stop with anything. So, obviously. Oh, here's a great picture of where we were at. I think, no. Maybe. This was me and my dad, I think, game 1. Yeah, Providence game versus Kentucky. I mean, those weren't our seats. Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't. I don't know. But this was Kentucky's day 2 of the tournament. This was actually a great picture. So this picture, me and my brother Jack Graybar, we were trying to get on the Jumbotron, because they show the pictures of people that like tag, the stadium, in their tweet or whatever to get on the Jumbotron type of deal. So that's what this picture was intended for. And I put it on there, and I was struggling. I didn't know how to do it. I was trying to do it as quick as possible. But it's the same picture with the Kentucky Wildcat. But so this picture, so we were actually So this game, we actually had Kansas State fans to my left in that picture, and it was an old couple. And so I'm not very humble, but especially after a loss, but I'm already jumping the gun. So the whole game, that's right, there was a guy, like probably 3 or 4 rows behind, maybe farther than that. And the whole game with Kentucky versus Kansas State, he's screaming, "Oscar the Machine!" And I'm like, dear God. Like the first time I heard it, I'm like, dear God, who the hell is screeching? So I turn around the second time I hear it, and I see the guy doing it as he's in the motion or act of doing it. And I go, oh, dear God. I said, you know what? I'm going to get this guy wound up just to hopefully have the audience tell him to shut the hell up. Because I like to grind people's gears a little bit. I like to be the instigator. So I was the instigator the whole time, and Kentucky ended up losing to Kansas State that game, to say the very least. And so, like I said, there was a Kansas State couple that was in the right, but to the left of me when I was sitting. So after I left, or after the game was over, my dad and my brother Jack were already gone up the steps. But it took me a while to get up the steps because I went and said congratulations to the couple that was Kansas State fans, and I said, congratulations on the game, and I will be rooting for y'all the next game against, I forget who it was. I think Michigan State, I think it was. Yeah, and then I ended up heading up the stairs to go see my dad. I told him about it. It's the same picture. I forget why I left it. I left it in there. I don't know why. Just in mind, I guess. And so, for those of y'all who know, especially Jeremy knew very well that I was about a kava bar. And so there's a kava bar named Peace and Kava. And so Alex was actually went to the military prior to Jack. And Alex didn't make it because Alex actually ended up with rhabdomyolysis. That's what it was. And so he had to come home. So this was the picture before he left. I told him I would take a picture with him before he left to the military. And as you can see, I have all my fly fishing lures on my hat, which was what my tradition was, when I was wearing my hat. And so here was a Peace and Kava open mic night picture. Yeah, open mic night when I was setting the drum set up for Leroy. And obviously the microphone's there too, as you can see. Can't really see it, but you get the gist. Yeah, you see the bottom of the microphone stand. And so this next picture, so I've had a buddy of mine. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I've tried texting him and reaching out to him, but he doesn't reply to spawn back. I don't know why, but it's weird, but it is what it is. But Gabe Trejo, when I was dating Elizabeth, I had talked to him known him for like 16, 17 years, give or take. And so when I was in college, I think that was when this was, me and him ended up going to watch Louisville play NC State at the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. And to say the very least, I forgot to crop this picture. I wish I did, but I didn't. But I'm going to show you why I say that. So, I don't know if you can see it, but it says, I remember that game like no tomorrow. I remember I was yelling, "You suck, State," and shit like that. And obviously it says like, but there's the more, because I put more text. I forgot to expand it when I took the picture. But, yeah, I wish I had cropped it. And then this one because when the PNC Arena game, we had like what do they call it? We were in the nosebleed section. Like we were up high as hell. But I remember there was a group of people, they had bricks or something like that. I was like, why the hell are you bringing bricks to a basketball game into an arena? I was like, what in the hell are y'all doing? I mean, this NC State fans are crazy. They're crazy wild. GWA Ring News. What? Wait, I won the ring? Oh. I might have to end this live stream to go respond. Maybe finish it up later because I have to work tomorrow at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I gotta probably start getting in the shower and stuff like that. But I'm gonna end that there. But yeah, that was and then I'll save one of the best highlights of my life ever for tomorrow. No, maybe not tomorrow. Maybe sometime this upcoming week. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll make it a part 2 because Costa Rica hasn't even been involved yet. And some other good memories. But I think a lot of people will get a kick out of this part 2 story. So I'm going to go in this late live stream and I'm going to go text Kiwi right now because if I run the ring, I'm going to probably cry because I really wanted that ring badly. Really? Wow. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. That means a lot to me, Alpine Gulch. I really appreciate that. Read what? I just read it. I just read that you won, but you gave me the ring. I will definitely do that right now. I'm gonna go text Kiwi because he asked me for my address. I didn't know who it was. I just saw Tyler Peter Graybar send me your address, and I didn't know who it was. But I'm gonna respond to that message, and I'll leave part 2 for the Papa G Beckway story. So later, y'all. Y'all take care. Stay cool and stay classy as always. Y'all be sweet now. I'm out. Mr. Cody is out.